I know you're shocked as I am. Jen Psaki can write a book. I didn't think she could even read one, much less write one. Welcome to Doug in Exile. This is where the happy patriots are. As we mock The View for having on America's redheaded stepchild, Jen Psaki.
On both sides of working as a press secretary, but also now being in the media. And there's been a lot of criticism of Biden, most recently from the New York Times.
How bad is it when the New York Times is criticizing Biden? I can't even explain how huge this is, that they'd start taking shots at Biden because they hate Trump. And if they're criticizing Biden, they're going like, look, we can't stay silent about this. It's so bad how Biden will not answer press questions.
He's held the fewest interviews and press availabilities of any president since Reagan.
And Reagan, I mean, those are a whole different days of media where you really don't have that much transparency from Reagan prior with access to the press.
I personally think it would help dispel some of the concerns about his age if he did more.
Oh, no, my lady. It wouldn't help dispel concerns if Biden did more press questions. It would greatly exaggerate them. And that's why they won't let Biden do press interviews, because it would be so horrifying. They couldn't edit it enough. They couldn't cover up for him enough. This is the smartest move from the Biden administration, is hide him. Do not debate. Do not let him go out in public. You'll barely see him limp to and from a helicopter anymore.
What would your advice be to the White House in terms of his accessibility to press?
Well, I think the benefit of the media environment right now, there's a lot of challenges.
Again, that's good news for Trump that she acknowledges there are a lot of challenges. They're going to try and blame this on just as if the only challenge is his age and hiding him from the press. There's many other challenges in that he is a failure as a president, as a leader, and as a Democrat. It's hemorrhaging across all fronts, from world security to the border to the economy. I mean, it's much more than just he can't speak to the press.
I'm going to start at the optimistic side, is that there are so many choices. And when you're communicating from the White House, I mean, respect for freedom of speech and freedom of the press is important, but you're also really just trying to communicate with the American people.
Right.
So my view is he should come on The View before he does a press conference.
What a kiss up.
He should, because people want to have real conversations about issues that are happening.
No, Biden does not want to have real conversations about issues that are happening, like our hemorrhaging economy, like the world wars he's dragging us into, the unrest on our campuses and the riots on our campus. He doesn't want to have that talk. That's what real press would ask him about, but he can't answer those questions.
I think press conferences are important, but I also think him doing Howard Stern, that's an interview that reached a broader audience of people.
Oh, yeah, that hard-hitting truth finder, Howard Stern. That's the only interview that he found time to have? Okay.
If you're in the White House, you're not thinking about, am I checking the box on doing the most interviews? You're thinking about, am I doing the most I can to communicate my message to the American people? That's who I represent.
Well, the boxes he checked was on Karine Jean-Pierre. He checked at least 3 diversity boxes on that one.
So I would say more Howard Stern, come on The View.
Chase more Easter bunny eggs, have more ice cream. That's her answer. She's covering for him because she's a press person over at MSNBC. Whoever rewarded the president for not taking hard-hitting questions from journalism? She's covering for him. The View is covering for him and lying to their audience.
More smartless conversations.
Biden showed up on a Smartless podcast, which I think is just about the weirdest marketing move ever, that it's called Smartless. And she's saying more Smartless podcasts. I would say The View counts as a Smartless podcast too.
You're having conversations about policy, but they're real ones that people have at their kitchen.
And they're also not just gotcha moments. Sometimes as a citizen, when I watch, I don't want the same just like catching moment. I want to know what's going on.
Yes.
I don't always get that from a press conference.
But this is what's weird. With Biden, no one's giving him a gotcha moment. No one is challenging him from their questions. Every once in a while, Peter Doocy can run out when he's walking by from a helicopter, but otherwise, no one challenged him. Remember, this is the emperor has no clothes. The emperor is naked, and all of the media has to tell you, aren't his gowns elegant? Everything is fine. Everything's luxurious. And some little kid looks up and says, the president, the emperor, is naked. And that's the one thing all these people have to do is keep the illusion up that he's clothed.
And you write poignantly about a topic we discuss here.
Thank you, Whoopi.
Often. And it's about the idea of.
That's Jen Psaki's book called Say More. And very ironic because Biden says less. So again, she even betrays the title of her own book.
Sure, and I think many of us can relate to this. Look, I think people probably look at everyone at this table and think, oh, you have it together. You just kind of sailed to this point. And
nobody looks at me and thinks that.
Yeah, Ana Navarro, nobody looks at this table and says we have it all together. We'll end on that. Good self-own on The View. I'm Doug in Exile.